look at our world today and you just feel into the vibration of that, we are doing the opposite of cherishing and holding ourselves. So how can we hold our children? You know, so I just keep nailing it down, and I really got the beauty that is inside of a woman and her physiology when she listens to it. Especially hormones plays a big part of this. And so we live in a culture that doesn't acknowledge hormones. You're not supposed to have them. You're not supposed to talk about those things. And I think we're suffering because of it. So what my goal really is just to get people out of, I work with the tone scale too, to get people just above the line, and then they could do whatever they want, because I don't believe everyone needs to be an enlightened master, but I just would like everybody to be above the line. And then they could do what they want. You know?
I got it. Yeah, the situation with families is a problem, and it's not that it wasn't a problem in my parents' generation and in prior generations. They oftentimes, because of the need, financial and economic and support structure, back in the industrial times and in the agriculture times, the woman often did not leave, and there were many times where a man would get up and leave, but it was rare back in the 1800s, early 1900s, for a woman to get up and leave. You know, this was the house, this was the hearth and home, and these were children that needed to be cared for. And how was she going to walk out with her skill set and start anew, unless she had already found another mate, perhaps? And so that was a common situation just a few generations ago. And then when the mid 20th century happened, the divorce rate skyrocketed. Amazingly enough, that came right in sync with when the birth control pill became prevalent, which was in the late 50s and the 60s. So the divorce rate climbed at that time, and there was this separation of need. The economic need wasn't there. So if there was belligerence, if there was abuse, or if someone just got tired of living in that communal home and hearth and home setting, they could get up and leave with more ease. And then when finally the deadbeat dad and the deadbeat parents law started to be enforced on the economic level, the woman, let's say she left, or whoever wasn't the breadwinner left, they had more access and enforcement for receiving some sort of benefit, or if they kicked out the other partner, they had more economic chance to receive some sort of a benefit from that other spouse. It's never been a done deal, because there's always this thing of what if the person just doesn't go to work and has no income. But these are things that we've seen in just the last generation and a half that prior generations saw very seldomly. Any comments on that?
Well, currently there's over 100 million Americans that are living in step-family situations or have step-family relations. And from an economic standpoint, it's funny you mentioned economics, because this week what I'm focusing on is my chapter, Navigational Skills for Step-Families, which is a workbook. And the chapter is called The Emotional Power of Money. It's called Act of Grace, The Emotional Power of Money. Now, navigational terms, Act of Grace is a document, and it's a document where you're going to go as you navigate through your sailing, right? So Act of Grace, the emotional meaning of money, the emotional meaning and power that money has over people. I deal with clients who they're not in survival. The children are fed, there's houses, so there's no real economic problem other than their need for their children to have everything all the other children have. So most of my clients, it's like, I'll give you an example. My child wants $300 sneakers because his classmate has $300 sneakers. And I'm the mother, and I say the father should buy those sneakers, right? The father does not buy those sneakers. And so the mother says, your father doesn't love you. If he loved you, he'd buy you those sneakers. And then I'm a little boy who's carrying around, my dad doesn't love me because he didn't buy me those sneakers. And there's a father who's saying, you have 7 pairs of $300 sneakers in your closet. You don't need another pair of 300. I'm not buying them. And there's no reality to this child's thoughts that his father loves him very much. The sneakers have nothing to do with it. It's that game that people play. So for me, I do understand that there's people struggling economically. But there's a level of abuse and ugliness that's going on that has nothing to do with anybody needing anything.